Morning, Alex. It's Friday, or as I like to call it, Snow Day, because it has been a massive blizzard out here and we have over a foot of snow and cars are still trying to travel, which is really, really dangerous. As you can see in this video, the snow is really, really deep and it's been snowing pretty much nonstop for the last 24 hours and there's probably well over a foot of snow. You can actually see my wife's car here. It's barely visible now that it's just a giant mound of snow, which is pretty cool. But anyways, on to today's lecture on the prisoner's dilemma. So I'm a little disappointed that you already know about the prisoner's dilemma, but I suppose a lot of people know about the prisoner's dilemma, so I'm still going to talk about it anyway, just because I think it's interesting, and I know a lot of other people think it's interesting. Prisoner's dilemma is game theory that anybody who watches procedural cop dramas will be well aware of. Basically, it entails taking two prisoners, separating them, and then they have the choice of either cooperating with each other and sticking to their stories so that they can both go free, or they both turn on each other, at which point they'll end up in jail, or one can turn on the other and send them to jail and walk free. And anyways, it's really, really confusing, but we'll get through it. If they work together, their overall well-being is greater than if either one of them had betrayed the other. Mathematics of the prisoner's dilemma work out like this. If both prisoners choose to cooperate with each other, then maybe they both go to jail for a total of 3 months. I'm not saying that going to jail is a good thing, but it's just not as bad as some of the other cases that could occur in the prisoner's dilemma. Now, if one of the prisoners betrays the other prisoner, the prisoner who betrayed gets to go free, whereas the other prisoner is going to go to jail for 10 years. The one prisoner who betrayed gets a really good benefit, while the other prisoner gets screwed. So the third option is that both of them betray each other, at which point both of them are going to go to jail for 5 years each. So this is the basic construct of the prisoner's dilemma. Do you trust the other person to do what's right for both of you, or do you betray them in order to get the best for yourself? Now, the way this works out, if you think about it mathematically, if I'm trying to decide what I should do no matter what the other person does, I could say, if I were to betray the other person and they are to cooperate, I would get to go free, which is better than me serving 3 months in jail if we were both to cooperate. Or, if I betray the other person and they betray me, then going to jail for 5 years is better than going to jail for 10 years if I had tried to cooperate and they still end up betraying me. So as such, I should always betray the other person regardless of what they're going to do. The reason this leads to a downfall is because if that's what the other person thinks, then the results will always be that both of us are going to betray each other and we'll always get the worst possible result. The prisoner's dilemma can be changed depending on how you view future interactions with this person. For instance, if I betray this person today, are they going to betray me next time? If you can't foresee yourself ever interacting with the person again, why not betray them? Because you don't need to worry about them betraying you in the future, because you're never going to see them again. So it is the solution to the prisoner's dilemma. Obviously, working together is probably the best way to go, but they've actually built mathematical models to calculate strategies for playing the prisoner's dilemma. Overwhelmingly, the best strategy has been a tit-for-tat scenario, where you will always operate cooperatively in the first round, but then in the following round, you will do whatever your opponent did in the previous round. So for example, in the first round, if I cooperate and you cooperate, then in the next round, I will cooperate. However, if in round 2, for some reason you defect against me, in round 3, I'll defect against you. This says that if you do something against me, I will do the exact same thing in retaliation against you. Once you've retaliated against the other person, there is immediately forgiveness of their previous infraction, and then you go on playing exactly what they did in the previous round against you. This does two things. It shows that defection will be met with immediate defection on our part, but at the same time it shows that forgiveness is also immediate. This leads us to probably the most important part of the prisoner's dilemma, and that's being really open with what your strategy is going to be. You see, if they know that you're always going to do what they did the previous round, then they can plan for the fact that you're going to defect against them if they defect against you. And as such, they'll know that if they cooperate, you'll cooperate, which will lead to the overwhelmingly better result for everybody. Now, whether or not this works in real political situations is going to depend on a lot of other factors. Like, I don't know if in the Cold War the tit-for-tat measure would really be a functional way of assuring that we would, work together for the best interests of everybody involved, other than the fact that we had the whole mutually assured destruction if anybody was to betray the other one. So that's the prisoner's dilemma in a nutshell. It's really interesting, and that was a really quick overview, but it does have a lot of influence in international politics, so it's something that everybody should really look at just because it's fun and it's interesting to know. So Alex, just so you know, I have set myself a goal that I'm going to finish a rough draft of all the cards for the business card game this weekend so that we can start play testing it and then we can do some refinements to it. So I will probably be sending you a message as to when I get that done, and if you have any cards you want to add to it, just let me know and we can get those all put together so we can start play testing it and refining it and whatnot. Anyways, Alex, it's snowing outside, which means I need to get back to work. Wait, that doesn't work. So I will see you on Monday, and I'll probably be talking to you online before then.